right outside. So come on in, don't be shy. We've got ghosts and UFOs. Brace yourself, get ready for the show. Don't be afraid of the dark. The fun's about to start. Nightmares or tales will inspire. Oh, tonight at the Scaredy Campfire. Have you heard tell of a demon next door? Or maybe a cryptid on the lake shore? There's nothing too strange for us here. So if you're ready, stamp out your fear. Don't be afraid of the dark. The fun's about to start. Nightmares or tales will inspire. Tonight at the Scaredy Campfire. Whoa, whoa.
Welcome back, campers, to episode 38 of the Scaredy Campfires. The air feels different tonight. Thick, electric, waiting. Some stories are born from curiosity, others from defiance. But all of them begin with one small, dangerous question. What if I look closer? Tonight, we'll learn why some mysteries are meant to stay unanswered. Tonight's story comes from Reddit user u/MountainCry3032, who experienced an unsettling night in an old 1930s duplex. Alone in bed, she felt an eerie presence, a sudden gust of wind right by her ear, the sensation of someone spooning her in the dark, and strange movements of clothes on the bed that she can't explain. What happened that night still haunts her. Hey, I, 25 female, am a long-time reader of this sub, but this is my first time posting. I'm going to tell the story of something I experienced a few months back in the middle of the night, something that creeped me out so much to an extent I've never felt before or since. Sorry, it will be a little long, but I'm trying to include every detail I can remember, so here we go. For context, I live in an old duplex house built in the 1930s. My boyfriend and I live on the first floor, and another young couple lives upstairs. We also have a creepy unfinished basement that we use for storage and laundry. Being such an old house, I do hear things sometimes, but it is always easy to attribute that to the creaky floors or the neighbors. We share a staircase with them too. Back in February, I was living on my own for a few weeks as my roommate had moved out and my boyfriend was finishing out his lease before moving in with me. I stayed at his apartment a few nights a week, but this particular time it was just me alone at my house. Around midnight or 1 a.m. I was laying in bed trying to fall asleep but was wide awake for some reason. I remember staring at the window in my bedroom, blinds closed, but the light from the street lamps was barely shining through. At this point, something odd happens. Laying on my side facing the window, I felt a whoosh of air right over my ear, like some kind of wind really close to my face. This was very alarming as there was no way it could have been just breeze from an air vent or the window, which was closed anyways. The gust was strong and, like I said, right in my ear. Strange, but whatever. Right after this, I feel the sheets move, and I swear to God, it felt like someone climbed in bed next to me. It felt like there was a body pressing up against my back, like spooning when you're the little spoon. At this point, I'm horrified, frozen in fear, thinking, what the actual fuck is going on? I didn't flinch at all, pretty much stayed as still as possible and trying to breathe silently, as if that would make it go away or something. After what felt like hours, but was probably just 5 to 10 minutes, I got up the courage to turn around. Of course, there was nothing there. I was so relieved, but then realized something else that I cannot explain whatsoever. The bed was empty, but here's why that's weird. It always has a huge pile of clothes on the side where I don't sleep. Judge me, I don't care. I hate putting laundry away and I'm pretty small, so there's no need for me to use the whole bed by myself. But when I turned around, the clothes were completely pushed to the edge of the bed, and even weirder, my other pillow was situated by mine, as it would be if someone else was sharing the bed. I don't think I'm conveying how fucking scary and abnormal that is. When I told my boyfriend that story, he said I probably just kicked the clothes around and didn't realize. But it was a huge, unorganized pile taking up half the bed, which had been there for days. And I would have had to physically shove everything over to clear the bed. There's absolutely no way to explain this. Anyway, this probably all sounds insane or even dumb, but I figured this is the place to share it. Such a strange experience. I don't know if I even explained it well, but in any case, I have come up with zero explanations for this. The strong whoosh, the clothes pushed away, feeling someone or something against my back. It doesn't make sense to me. I'd love to hear if anyone has thoughts on this because I sure as hell don't. Whether it was a restless spirit, a trick of the mind, or something else entirely, that night left an imprint no explanation can fully erase. Sometimes the unseen touches us when we least expect it. Quiet, close, and impossible to ignore. Tonight's story comes from Reddit user u/Forgotten Soul XO, who experienced a chilling encounter while staying in a cabin in the Appalachian Mountains. What started as a fun night playing cards with family turned unsettling when a mysterious knock came at the door, accompanied by a voice calling her by a name no one else used anymore. But that was just the beginning of an eerie series of events, including an overwhelming sense of dread that followed her through the mountains. In February of this year, I went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee with my family, and we stayed in this adorable little cabin on a golf course. Anyways, my parents, Nana, aunt, and her daughter, and my brother, his girlfriend, and his dad all went out to explore the woods, riding trails, and me, my sister, and my cousin all stayed at the cabin. About 30 minutes after they left, the three of us were playing cards against humanity and laughing and joking about the cards we kept getting when we hear a knock at the front door. Now, it's important to know that we were all sitting in the dining room. The dining room had about 8 to 10 windows around the room, one of which was pointed directly at the door. The door is angled towards the dining room. When the knock had happened, I had actually just gotten up to check on some cookies I had in the oven, so I was at a point where I couldn't see the door, but they could. My sister was staring at the door, and my cousin was looking at me with such an unexplainable expression that kind of creeped me out, but I still set my mitts down and went to walk to the door. But about halfway there, my sister called me from the back door. Mind you, I can still see my sister at the dining room table and whatever was called me by my legal government first name. My sister has not called me my legal name since she was in third grade. When that happened, I was on high alert and realized I probably shouldn't open the door because, duh, so I just went and sat down and chose to ignore it. Now, the night before, I had called my older cousin to debrief about a situation with my ex. During this call, I was sitting in the metal glider on the porch where the hot tub is because it felt like I was suffocating inside. As I'm sitting there, I noticed that on the golf cart bridge down the hill from me, something is standing there looking directly at me. Now, at the time, I chalked it up to being a man standing there because that's not unusual for me. But as I'm finishing up my conversation with my cousin, I get this overwhelming sense of dread and danger, and I can't tell where it's coming from. So I quietly got up and went inside and watched a movie. Funny enough, the day after the events of the first paragraph unfolded, we went to an exotic car exhibit at an aquarium. Now, all was good there, nothing strange, but when we were driving through the mountains to get back to the cabin, that feeling of dread came back. It was so overwhelming, I was in physical pain from how heavy my chest felt. About 5 minutes into the unbearable pain and sense of dread driving me nuts, it stopped. It just went away. No lingering ache in my chest, no dread, nothing. My parents were looking at me like they thought I needed a hospital. And my brother's girlfriend was leaning over the back seat, making sure that I was good and that I didn't need anything. The whole thing was really weird and very disturbing. Can y'all help me to figure out what this entity was? Because 4 months later, I'm still going absolutely insane over it. Whatever that presence was, whether some restless spirit or something else entirely, it left a mark that still haunts her months later. Some encounters don't come with answers, only lingering fear and questions that refuse to fade. That closes out episode 38, Campers. Curiosity is a spark. It can light the path ahead or set the whole forest ablaze. Remember, not every door is meant to be opened, and not every whisper is meant for your ears. Until the next fire, keep your questions closed and your courage closer.
As the night gets longer and the darkness creeps in, with the eerie silence broken only by whispering wind, come gather round the fire, the flickering flames, and hear the tales of the spooky and the strange. Chill up your back, a shiver up your spine. You'll be haunted by the things that you find. Legends will unfold and stories will be told at the scary campfire, for only